morning, everybody. Welcome back to our Arabian Insider post-show edition. I'm Francesca Ragno.
I'm Jeffrey Winterstein.
For Arabian World and Arabian Essence. So, the Chantilly 2016 European Breeders' Championship is finished.
Absolutely. We crowned 6 champions, so let's take a look. Congratulations to all the AHO European Breeder champions. Francesca, after the show, you had a chance to sit down with the judges, and it was quite interesting, yes?
Absolutely, yes. I asked all the judges of the European Breeder Championship, to sit down with me, just to talk about how the atmosphere of the show is now going on, and which were the changes that they can see in the last decade, in this Arabian horse world, how the breeding program, the horses developed, and how the quality, goes up, and what they think also about the situation nowadays at the show that we have worldwide. So let's have a look. Hi, I'm Francesca Ragno in Chantilly, and I'm here with all the judges of the European Breeders' Cup. Judges, thank you to be here with me. I know that you are tired and the first day of the European Breeders' Cup is now ended. I'm here because I would like to know from you, as we have a lot of experience here with us, what do you think about the changes of the last 10 years in the world of horses?
With me?
Yeah.
Okay. In this group, there are people which can tell you about the changes not in the last 10 years, but 20, 30, and I think 40 years. I'm personally, I believe the breeding progress. Otherwise, what we are doing makes no sense. So it has to be, there has to be changes, and horses has to look different than it was 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years ago. And I think they do. They look different. We have much more beauty. We have horses very good moving. Still need to work on conformation, but we need to have a target. We need to have a goal to reach. What about the horse market? it's also changing. This show is a great opportunity for the breeders to show their horses. The thing which we're missing very much in Europe is, and probably not only in Europe, we are missing breeders on the shows. They are also only big stable, big training centers, big owners, but breeders disappeared. I think we have to work on it, and this is one of the opportunities, and I hope it will be developing this idea. So that's my opinion. What about you?
Yes, I agree with you, but I think that we have lost a lot of body, a lot of conformation. If you remember all the Polish horses, maybe was not so refined, but there was really horses. Now we take care much more of the type, of the head, the neck, and maybe for me we have lost the sport horse that we had before in Poland, for example, or in Russia. And of course now they are much more refined, much more beauty. But of course the breeder follow the course of this kind of because they have to sell, and they create what the market want. But I think that we have, as you have told before, that we have to work a lot on the body, on the conformation. We still have a very good mover, but and some, of course, some good body, but we have lost something. And another thing that I think it is not good is the atmosphere that we find in the show. Many years ago, every breeder, every handler help each other. There was a fast atmosphere. Now, in many shows, not here in Chantilly, because I've seen that here it is a little bit like before. Or in Stroen, for example, that it is a fest of the horse. Now, because there are too many money involved, I think for this, you can see that the atmosphere is not so nice, because everybody wants to win, and everybody are jealous of the other breeder, of the other handler, and also the handler are under a big stress, of course, by the owner, of course, of the owner, that they want to win, and if they don't win, the fault is of judges, of the handler, that he didn't do a good job. But it is not always like that, and I think we will come back to the atmosphere of 20, 30 years ago. You.
Okay, I think, yes, we, over a period of decades, we tend to follow trends. Trends go towards one direction and then maybe changes slightly. I think right now, of course, as my fellow judges have said here, that we have certainly gained on type. And now maybe we have to take a step again towards correct conformation. I see that we have lost something in the top lines of the horses, the strength of the top lines. And for athletic purposes, this is very necessary, and we can't lose sight of this. So I think that's a thing that, hopefully that we will see a trend back that way. The athleticism of the Arabian horse is a requirement. It is not a side effect, and we also have to keep in mind that just because a horse moves well in the ring, that it has some correct conformation, it also has to have the disposition to work under saddle at something. And so, I think this is something that will increase our market if we increase that aspect of our horses. And the marketplace is difficult now because Certainly in the U.S., we have so many different sources of recreation. So many outlets for people to do. We have the massive internet, which provides entertainment. We have exciting sports like, car racing. We have a variety of sports that are active, and we have to be thinking of what it is that we can do to draw people, because we need outside spectators. We need people to come to the shows, and people that maybe have never been to a horse show or been to see Arabians before. And out of so many people that come to a show, there will always be 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 5 out of a bigger group of people that will see Arabian horses and say, wow, I never knew that they existed. I have to have one. And that's where we get our market as well from other breeds. So I think this is an area of the market that we have to really think about, is how do we draw outside people?
In my opinion, the problem of the show is now that we can find the advantages but also disadvantages. The show nowadays, they somehow reduce the gene pool of Arabian horses which are used for breeding, which is not very positive, because now we can see in the arenas a lot of horses by the same sire or just from one line, which brings for sure troubles for the future. So the people should also think, and we should find also the way how to attract the people to breed with the other horses, and they shouldn't be afraid to use the other horses. So the main goal to come to the show shouldn't be just to win. It's very difficult for sure to let the people understand it, but they should also come and enjoy the shows. So that was originally the idea of the Arabian horse show. So the people, they should have a fun, they should be able to meet each other, they should be talking to each other, they should be cooperating, they should be exchanging experiences. Now this is a little bit lost, I think. So there is really that competition in between the people, and this friendship somehow disappeared. But not everywhere. I think we have still some shows, for example England, also in Europe, many shows which are like that. They are friendly, they are in a very good atmosphere, they are able to actually bring the joy which is originally requested or which was originally planned with the show. So we also need to find, and I agree with Marek and also with your dad, we need to find new possibilities how to attract the people to come to the shows. We need new breeders. We also need to motivate the current breeders which we have to breed with other horses, and we should support the breeding somehow, which is not an easy issue, and for sure it will take a bit longer. We can see really a big development during those last 10 years, as you mentioned. It was the quality of the horses. I think during the last 5 years the quality amazingly improved. So before it was growing slowly, but the last 5 years the quality is somehow amazing. But again, a lot of horses, they lost that conformation which they should have. So I agree, because we can see pretty a lot of weak bodies sometimes. The legs are not the good legs for riding. So this is something what we should focus on, and that should be our goal also. I mean, the international organizations which are focused or which are concentrated on Arabian horse shows, this should be our aim goal, to improve with Arabian horses in the arenas. We should definitely work on improvement of the legs, of the conformation horses, but still we need to keep the shows attractive to people.
Thank you. Yes, I totally agree with my colleagues. They said already the most important points. I also think that we improved in type, but body conformation we have lost. And sometimes also you can see some breedings where we have lost quality in the legs, in the bones, small bones, which you cannot ride these horses or do big endurance, and this is pity. But we have to think why also this happened. I think personally because we are in a fashion trend. We use maybe only a couple of stallions which print the show scene, And what I'm missing is, like you said, Jaroslav, the variety. We don't have at the shows like we had 20, 30 years ago, the typical Russian one, the Spanish one, and we have lost them. We are competing in a very small scale of type. And this is pity, because all these lines, they will disappear, and this we should pay attention, and this is something for the breeders. But it's important also for the judges that they have to find out the quality which is good, even if it's not the fashion type we have in front of us. But and not to forget, we still need riding horses, not all horses can be show horses, and so we have to pay attention about conformations and legs and movement, which is many times we miss it. But in type, we definitely made a big step forwards. It's almost perfect sometimes when you see some heads or necks, especially head and necks. These are they improved a lot the last years.
I agreed with all the judges what they said now, and I want to tell you we are in Egypt. The breeding programs is very important for us as a breeders. Every year we are doing very good progress in the breeding programs, and our shows, we have a lot of shows. The new breeder studies from these shows and from the judging what they are doing. We start to, in the shows now, we see horses. I agree that the conformation of the horses and the body and the loins of the horses are getting slack loins, small short groups, and it's very important to have a well-balanced horse. It's not an only show horse. You have to have them for breed. You could not choose all the stallions for the breeding program. You have to have horses for the racetrack, for the endurance, for the ridings. And Arabian horses, they at the oldest time they used for the wars. It's important to have a well-balanced horse. The type are very good progress in the type in our countries, and the straight Egyptians, they have very good progress in type. And the show for the Breeders' Cups are very important. For me in our country, the important show for me is the Breeders' Cup. It's very nice to let the breeder to keep his horses, not sell all the horses that he have, and keep the best of them and complete in breeding with these horses. It's nice when we want to do also to open the gene pools more, because the new breeders come and see there are 3-4 stallions, their sons and daughters are winning in the shows. When they see this, they used to breed these stallions. They don't want to go to the difficult to start from the beginning to look for the nice stallions to use. They want to run steps quickly to use the same stallions that win in the shows. This is the judge has to explain for the new breeders and let them to get new bloodline, help them to get the new bloodlines and tell them the faults, and give the when we say not when there is something is not nice in the horse when you're judging him, you give him the right number for him to let the breeder knows that this is not nice. He tries to progress that. This is what I want to say. Thank you.
I think one of the problems, at least in Europe, is also that we don't have young breeders. Nowadays the marketing obviously is almost in America or in the Middle East country, as anyway Europe is having quite a lot of economically problem. So of course the European breeders that now we have are always the same, and I don't see in Europe a lot of young people involved in Arabian horses that really are interested in the bloodlines, in the breedings. What do you think about this aspect concerning Europe, obviously? I think this is also a point that can in somehow not really help the development of the Arabian horse worldwide, because Europe was a really important dimension and now is getting, and I don't want to say a little bit down, but for sure the breeders are going away.
I think we have a problem with the shows because it went so professional, that some breeders, small breeders, they cannot afford to take the horses to the shows because they have to give them to a trainer, and that costs them a lot of money. And this is the main problem. I think that's why we don't see anymore these small breeders, and we had this big parties and like a familiar and meeting we had 20-30 years ago. It was different. It developed in a professional way, but also for the small breeders it got much more difficult.
I would like, before my colleagues will talk, I would like to comment this. That's what we trying to change nowadays. We realize we are losing the breeders, and we are trying, as for example international organizations as AHO and other, also AHO here, they are trying to support the new breeders. This Breeders' Cup idea is a very good idea, and I think that's something what needs to be also thought for the future and developed even more for the future. And we should also attract, as Doug said before, we should bring more people to see our shows. We shouldn't present the Arabian horse only as a crazy horse. That's, I think, also what was in the past the problem, and this somehow reduced the people to be interested in Arabian horses. We should also show that the Arabian horse is also a good horse for riding and can be used also for some other performances, not only for shows. So we should work on this slowly. This will be probably not changed from one day to another, but we should be focused on that mainly, and we should present Arabian horse as a horse, not as any pet, which can be, but still it should be a horse which can be used for riding and which can be a really good partner to his rider or to his owner.
I think that we need to look a bit more positive on on these problems. I strongly believe that we don't know exactly what we have, and we don't trust our horses enough. They can really offer us much more than we ask them for. We cannot say that they are not, before they were better riding animals than now. I will not say that, because we don't know how they are before we try. That's not necessary that the ugly horse has to be a good riding horse and the pretty horse will not. I mean, we have the best examples. The twice national champion of Poland is one of the best dressage horses in European championships for Arab horses. And all these activities are showing what these horses can do. I heard from the American breeder, so that's not possible. It's a good race horse, but he's by Enzo. He said, well, did you try Enzo at the racetrack? No. And last year we have seen the wonderful dressage horse called by the FEI dressage judges as Totilas, Arabian Totilas. Great dressage horse from Denmark, also the son of Enzo. So we should really try much more and try to make this horse more family horse. If we start to use them under saddle, really as a sport horse, as a family horse, then the young people will come faster. And the other thing, we all which are involved in Arabian horse breeding, we have to promote them, and we have to come closer to the people with these horses. This place like this, in a very famous place with a lot of visitors, can bring somebody new to this business, and maybe some children which are around will like to have an Arabian horse. So if we go closer, if we go into the city maybe with our shows, maybe we can find new people, and we can find young people which will be interesting, and let's try to work much more with these horses and ask them for more than we do now.
I agree with Marek completely, and I think it's also important what I think Renata said, the show scene also became very professional. But I also found very much interesting and very helpful, I think, for the future, the activity which has been created last year, and there's this series of amateurs shows. This is also something what could actually bring new people into this business, into Arabian horses, could give them that joy which they should have, and could give them that interest into the breeding Arabian horses. And I think we should be also developing this idea, because we finally need to have still normal people with horses, horse lovers, and that's the most important goal for the future. Keep the horse lovers with us, and I think we can get more and more breeders in the future again.
I really thank you all to be here and to have speaking with me about all your great ideas. And I really hope that tomorrow you will enjoy the championship here in Chantilly. That anyway is a really amazing show, and I really appreciate this European Breeders' Cup that allow every breeder, all the Europeans want to come with their horses, and they can afford it, especially. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for the Arabian Insider post-show, Chantilly 2016. I'm Jeffrey Winterstein.
I'm Francesca Ragno.
For Arabian Horse World and Arabian Essence. Until next time.
Bye.